It's Homeschooling. This is Dana Susan Beasley of angelarts.biz. So today I am going to talk about or ask you this question. Do you struggle with a reluctant reader? I know that when my son was in elementary school, he definitely struggled. And he went, he couldn't read hardly a page. And so I started to clue in and figure out what to do. So let me just give you some ideas that might help you, because you might be in a position where you have something like a third grader and they're not reading, and most likely, sadly, for a lot of mothers, there's this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm failing them, and what am I going to do, and I should just quit, and all sorts of questions like that, or thoughts like that. And I just want to assure you that that's not the case. Because, first of all, every child is different. It really is a fallacy about grades, grade levels, and what children do at a certain age. And the pressure on kids has gotten more and more young. I mean, think about, like back in my day, I won't tell you how long that was, but let's just say, it was in the 70s. All right, so I went to kindergarten and it was about cutting and drawing. Yeah, that was painting, sorting. It was not academic whatsoever. And so, we just put so much pressure on these little kids, and we shortchange them on important things like playing. Playing has been downplayed. Play has been downplayed. And that's really, really sad, because play is an important developmental component to kids growing up. And not only kids, but it's an important part of any person's life. I mean, look at animals. They play. That's what they do. So, just remember that play is extremely, extremely important. That's the first thing. And then read out loud to them. Don't make it a pressure thing. Make it something fun and light. Especially like bedtime. That's a perfect time to read aloud to them. Get all snuggled, and that's just a wonderful time. And read aloud for your school, especially, and then make that a special time. And don't put a lot of pressure on them either. Don't oh, Johnny, you've got to be still, perfectly still. Especially for boys, that's just not realistic. And some kids and adults need something else to focus on so they can focus on what is coming through their ears. It's strange, but it's true. It's even true with me, because when I work on some projects, I actually need to watch something, or else I'm going to get too distracted. So have your kids do something like play with Legos, or play with it, whatever their favorite thing is. My son used to play with cars. He would line them up. He would line his cars up all the way across the room, and I'd read aloud to him. Or draw. Drawing or painting is something that is wonderful. Some kids just need that. You need to be doing something busy here so they can hear here. So don't think that they just have to have their eyeballs riveted on you and perfectly still. That is not realistic, especially for little children. And you know what? It's going to make them hate reading, and you don't want them to hate reading. You want them to love reading. And then if you have a reluctant reader who won't, read more than a sentence or two, start small. When my son was struggling with this, what I did was I found this program that allowed me to print out essays in any subject I could have wanted. And so I started out with a paragraph and in, big print. And then, I went a couple, and then I went a page, and then I went, 1.5 pages, etc., until he was reading 3 pages. And then he started reading little novels, and one of the ones he read was a novel about a llama. It was really funny, really cute and sweet. And so he read that. That was the first novel he ever read. first chapter book, and he read it over and over and over again, and then I had to read it aloud to him. So, and then I knew that he was struggling, so I did send him to a reading specialist. And that's something that you can do if you're really concerned. Find a reading specialist, or you might find, what I've also done is find a brain integration therapist too, because some of these kids, they just can't get their, wires to cross the middle part of your brain, and they don't cross. And that's another thing I want to say is, before you do academics, before you do any reading at all, have them move, and especially have them cross their brain. Things like cross crawl. I can't really show it adequately here, but you want to make sure that they cross their brain, and that they're actually doing exercises, that cross their arms against their middle. And that is really helpful. But getting them to move in general is really important. So especially the younger they are, and boys more so than girls. So just think about that. And then, like I said, if you really feel like, you need some help, get that help for sure. There's so many resources available. And one of the things that our reading specialist told me, and it just resonated with me, is she said that kids can learn two ways. They can learn like a golden retriever, all happy, or they could learn like a Doberman Pinscher, stern and scary, and so you want to be more on the end of the golden retriever, especially when it comes to reading, because really your goal as a homeschooler parent is, to be out of the box, is to give them a love for learning, give them that spark, and that doesn't happen when you pressure them. So think about those things, and then, let me just say that after all of that and doing all of that, pretty soon my son was reading at an advanced level. And when he was tested at that time, I don't remember, like he was 9, 10, I forget the details, but he tested like at a sophomore college level and 29-year-old in phonics. So, he is a good reader. And then pretty soon after that, he started reading advanced novels. Like he read Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. So, but even to this day, he is not really much of a fictional reader. He's read some, but it's not really his passion. His passion is research. And so he is always reading, because he's always researching. And he's done 2 years of high school just on his own, just through research. So, don't discount that either, in that, a lot of times, or sometimes, kids really aren't interested in fantasy. They may be interested in something practical. And so give them those opportunities too, like picture books with a bunch of graphics. I know Usborne Books sells a bunch of things like that. And so you can get them interested through those graphics, or a graphic novel. There's nothing wrong with giving a kid that kind of inspiration, like a graphic novel. And so many things come in a graphic novel. So just some ideas to help you if you have a reluctant reader. And one of the things that I know with a reluctant reader is, when you have a child who reads on a lower level than what his supposed grade level is supposed to be, there's not a lot of material out there that isn't juvenile. So that's the thing that I experienced, and being an entrepreneur, I wanted to offer that to parents. And so that's something that we actually published. We actually published this book called Cycle of 12 Fairy Tales for Reluctant Readers. And this is our first book in a series that's going to be at least 12 books. And fairy tales was our first topic, because we love, love, love fairy tales. So my nephew, Nathan Creed, who is a homeschool graduate himself, he wrote 11 of these short stories. And they have several different reading levels. And it says there what it is, from like kindergarten, first grade, I think all the way to third, but I'm not sure at the top of my head. But it says right there what it is. There's standard vocabulary words that kids need to know here. And it also has a section on helping you work on or work with your child if he or she is a reluctant reader. And so it's really fun stories, and you'll enjoy it. And then there's also a section there, creative ideas to teach vocabulary. So look that up on our website, angelarts.biz/shop. It's there. Just search for the book and you will find it, and you'll really enjoy it. And look for the other books that come in the series. As you know, we've got a lot of projects right now, but hopefully in the next 6 months to a year we'll have some more books in the series, because I personally find readers so helpful. It's something that actually I've collected so many readers. But yeah, just check this book out on angelarts.biz/shop, and I'll put the direct link below too. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope that inspires you. This is Dana Susan Beasley of angelarts.biz. Together, may we reach new heights in our lives and beyond.